Hello and welcome to the Love Thy Nerd Pulse, a brand new podcast from Love Thy Nerd, where we have conversations with LTN staff, missionaries, high-level volunteers, people in parallel ministries, all in order to dig into and discover what we are reading, watching, playing, and experiencing in nerd culture. I'm your host, Luke, aka Frostbite, and joining with me,
I'm the co-host, Michael, aka Tree Once Cut Down.
And we are still figuring this out, but we're excited to be here. We've been friends for, I don't know, like months, maybe years.
Feels like years.
No, but we both have passions for audio engineering and a level of excellence and nerdiness, and we both have different nerdy passions that we'll dig into as the show goes on, as we continue to grow and figure this thing out. But thank you for joining me, Michael. It is always good to have you. I love hanging out with you and watching streams and playing games. And so we're here. First ever episode
that we're
LTN
recording.
Pulse. We're recording. That goes in. Yes, you bring up a good point.
So this is going to be this is the real one that you get to, that parts the veil a little bit to seeing all of our mistakes that we're going to make and learn from to make the real first episode, the one that you've already listened to or seen, just so perfectly polished.
That is correct. This one seems scuffed because it is, and it's out of timeline order.
And love. And out of love. It's out of love.
Out of love. Yeah. The extra ingredient is love. No, but yeah, we're trying to figure this out. We are excited to be here. This is us just having some fun. And this came about because of part of my interaction with Love Thy Nerd, and we'll go into this in probably the next episode. But when I first discovered LTN, one of the major podcasts at the time was Free Play. And through that, I learned all about Matt, Kate, and Bubba. And then through some other podcasts, I learned about some of the other staff members. And I absolutely loved just hearing what people were listening to, watching, reading, playing. And that I felt like I knew Love Thy Nerd on a deeper level. So then I reached out to Michael and was just like, hey, what do you think of this? Because as a fellow fan of Free Play,
yes.
What do you think?
I was down from second one. I was like, let's go. We can get into it more later, but as Luke kind of mentioned earlier, I've got a passion for audio, and that's where my background is. I'm a full-time, my job is podcast production, but I'm not in any podcasts. So when he was like, let's do a podcast, talk about nerdy stuff, that was a no-brainer. Yes, absolutely. Not even a second thought. Let's do it.
And up until this point, I was a professional podcast guest. So yes, I was also not on any podcast full time, but I often guested on different ones, and I was keeping a tally, and I don't know whatever happened to that. So that'll be in my future resume. But now look at me now, Mom. I got my own podcast.
Yeah, your own podcast. Said I'm not going to be a guest anymore. This time it's going to be me hosting.
Accurate. I love it. Well, I'm super excited to figure this out with you. And without further ado, let's just dive in to what the heck we are reading, watching, playing, experiencing in nerd culture. And on this episode, our special guest is Michael.
Whoa! What? No way.
We're going to talk about what you are up to in nerd culture and maybe what is happening in LTN and all that good stuff. Again, this is pre-recorded. These will go on to be more live, weekly, bi-weekly, if you will. But this one is recorded in advance. So all of the events that you hear are further than they appear, I guess.
In the past. Not necessarily the most it's up to date right now as recording, but as you're listening or watching, things may have not been currently like the it thing. So, you know,
I mean, they could still be around.
Fine. It's slightly retrospect. Yeah, it could still be around. People still do stuff.
You never know. Not like, so like today's Disney Plus shows are like 6 episodes long, but like back in the day, you're watching a classic show that has like 21 episodes. So it could still be going.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You can still be talking about whatever season of The Office that is happening right now, or I don't know, Parks and Rec, or y'all Thursday nights on NBC used to be the jam.
Oh
I'm just gonna this is what's making me think of that, because they had Parks and Rec, The Office, Community, and 30 Rock. It was like a 2-hour block, and that was that. I mean, Thursday nights were the best. Oh man,
so I love Community. I can't wait for the movie. They're making the movie. Oh, right, the prophecy.
Yes, 6 seasons in a movie.
Oh, I love it. I love it a lot. Well, cool, man. So, what is your involvement with Love Thy Nerd? What do you do?
Yeah, so I first got connected to Love Thy Nerd through randomly searching Twitch for Christian streamers to interview for a podcast that I produce, and came across Love Thy Nerd along with a bunch of other like really awesome communities like God Squad Church and Lux Digital, and just kind of like happened to land on Love Thy Nerd out of, I don't know, randomness, divine inspiration. The world may never know, but ease of mostly ease of finding the website and direct contact information for LTN's leadership. And I was like, well, Bubba, he's the CEO, so he's the guy I should talk to. So I interviewed him, and we ended up like taking a hour-long interview into 2-hour-long like hang time, which was a lot of fun. And
that sounds like Bubba.
Yeah, right. So that ended up kind of like pulling me into Twitch and connecting into LTN. And I don't know if necessarily the rest is history per se, but you know, over the year or so, year and a half ish that it's been, just kind of made some more connections, like with you, Frost, and now here I am helping out, making a podcast, high level volunteering, one might even
I love
potentially say. We'll see.
We'll see.
We'll see.
No, absolutely. And like you and I have had conversations too about getting more involved and doing different things. This podcast honestly came out of the blue, and I was just like, what do you think about this? But also we're talking, you know, taking mission trips to your neck of the woods at some different events down there, and like getting out to NCMS and doing all sorts of stuff. Like the possibilities are endless. So, but I wanted to ask, do you remember what Bubba was streaming? Was he playing or just chatting, or when you first found him?
I don't know if it was free play or gosh, because this would have been like February last year, February 2023, and
literally could have been anything.
It could have been anything. Or honestly, it may not have even been like much at all. It might have been like seeing you, or I don't know if Matt was streaming at the time, somebody in the Love Thy Nerd umbrella. And I was like, well, they're doing ministry online. That was kind of like a theme for the episode of the podcast I was producing. And like, oh, they've got a whole like ministry and, you know, this organization built around this.
Yeah,
I should talk to the guy who says he's CEO. He's the guy to talk to.
Yeah. Okay. Because I'm trying to remember what we were doing, like just as a stream on Twitch, because there was a point, and we'll go into this more maybe in a future episode, but where I was streaming full time as LTN, but then Bubba always had his thing. He did a thing where he did like his CEO talks, which
I remember those. I think
he did that on his own channel.
Was it?
Do you think you discovered his own channel? like just Bubba _ LTN.
Maybe
because he would do like CEO like office talks, which was really cool, and I would love to see those come back. So, hint, hint.
Nudge, nudge.
But yeah, I was just curious because we do all sorts of stuff.
Yeah, and I don't know what it was necessarily that kind of like made the solid connection. It might have been that y'all had the best, most easily navigatable website and, you know, contact information to reach out to. The funny thing was something about y'all's emails and the email firewall for the company I work for didn't like connect. Like my company's firewall or email firewall didn't accept emails from y'all, so I had to use my Gmail account. And it got
interesting,
weird, but we're here, and you know that's what really matters. But
yeah, one thing led to another, and not to brag, but our website is pretty dope. LoveThatNerd.com. Go check it out.
Yes, everything that you want is easily accessible. It's easy to find in terms of like stuff to listen to. LTN Radio is great. Luke was playing that on his stream earlier today, and I was vibing while I was co-working.
I love doing that too. It's such an easy
articles
thing to do.
Are good. It's worthwhile content. It's all the stuff that you want. It's all the LTN stuff, and it's well laid out. Whoever designs the website, good job.
It's always been like that since I've been here, and now I need water. Oh no!
Oh no! But yeah, that's how I met. That's how I've kind of like got plugged into LTN. How the connection was made. While Luke chokes on water and hopefully doesn't die. And sorry, this was the first and last episode. Luke died. He choked on water.
I'm
and yeah,
that's crazy. Out of nowhere.
Seriously, and
my throat just got really dry.
But that's crazy. I guess that's pretty crazy too.
It is crazy. We're doing it live.
Yes.
I love this. This is another conversation that Michael and I had of just like keeping it real. Like we're doing this one cut. What you see is what you get. If someone chokes and dies, we go on.
The other one carries the torch and, you know.
No, but good thing I had water here. Like just shout out to water, you know?
Shout out to water, right?
All right. So what are you? This is the real meat of the podcast. What are you reading, watching, playing, experiencing in nerd culture?
I can do a quick shout out on reading because I actually am reading something right now, albeit very slowly because I'm a terrible person when it comes to like reading. It's a short book. It's like this big and it's 90 pages long. It's called, I want to say it's called Overcoming Walls. It's downstairs on my kitchen table right now. But it's short and simple, book about how to overcome walls to share your faith with other people. And it's broken down into like simple sections, very like plain language. The first one is about like overcoming like the fear of sharing your faith with other people. And it's great. In a very quick amount of time, you can read it and be like, oh yeah, I really don't have any reason to be afraid. Here's all these quick points. Here's all the biblical references to how God provides for us and how in our fear, God can be made strong and all like, he uses that. It's great. So that's what I'm reading right now. I want to say it's called Overcoming Walls. It's really short and Overcoming Walls to Witnessing. There it is. Yes.
I like it. Yeah.
So that's what I'm trying to be good about reading right now.
Dude, that's great. And that's right up my alley. I need a short book. I need a short read.
Yes. That's the real wall to overcome is to actually like read something. But yeah, reading that, playing, I'm part of the I don't know, the insane group of people that love From Software games. And so I'm going through Elden Ring Shadow of the Erd Tree DLC and loving it.
You're insane.
Yep. It's almost its own game in terms of the size of scope. It's so huge. Yeah. Like, you'll go off in one direction and just explore a little bit, think like, oh, check out what's over here. Oh, there's like this huge, massive area that I didn't realize I could find this way, or oh, this is a mountain that I didn't think I'd have access to, but apparently there's a boss at the top of it. Like all kinds of stuff like that. It's tough. It's probably not as tough as some of the people are complaining about. There's articles all over the place.
I was gonna ask.
Yeah.
Have you seen the people complaining about the difficulty? Oh man. Yeah.
It's in-game level content, so you need to be max, like very, very high level.
And it's not different than the previous Souls games.
No, it's all the
Elden
same
Ring
stuff. Go in with your best build that you are most comfortable with and just have fun. Do the thing. Find the Skadju tree blessings and revered spirit ashes. Buff your stuff. That's content made for the content. Like your levels won't do anything in there. So they made this like, oh, you need to find these items because that's going to basically be your levels for this area. And it's tough, but it's tough but fair, like all the most of the From Software content is.
It's got to be like new players, casual players, like I've seen like equally the true fans of Souls-like games are like, you guys are ridiculous, like just stop playing. If you think it's too hard, leave us. Like
Dark Souls 1 was infinitely harder than this is. Like, I mean, PlayStation 3, not the best graphics, not near the level of quality of life improvements. If there's ever any kind of like unfair junk in Elden Ring, it's multiplied by 1,000 in the older Souls games. Like those are utterly brutal.
I played Dark Souls 2 or 3 on stream like ages ago. Like this was in our other house. I played it like 2 or 3 because someone redeemed it, or it was like a community thing. I'm like, fine, I'll finally play it. And I'm not kidding. I put in, like first time ever playing a Dark Souls game, and in the title and like first playthrough or whatever, and I had the most organic viewers I've ever had. Like it was like over 100. Like, and that's not, if you know me and my streams, like that's not normal. But like the community behind that, like if you love Dark Souls, you love Dark Souls. And so like people are like, oh, go do this, you should do this, try this, and like encouraging me. I'm like, you guys are like the nicest community. And then but there's also like the other side of that too, where people are
just telling me to get good and I've kind of found that too when I've jumped into like other random FromSoft streams. Typically people are really good about like, gentle tips about like, oh, you should do this or check this, or like before you do this, do that, that kind of thing. And it's pretty cool because that's the challenge is part of the fun. And if you can get through, then it feels really great to beat a boss that's been absolutely wrecking you for like an hour. But yeah, I love FromSoft games. It's, if you played Dark Souls 2, Luke, that may have been the real downfall because it's a decent bit different than the other ones. And Dark Souls 3 is like basically Elden Ring and its expansion are almost like Dark Souls 3 plus, not story wise, but the gameplay feel is very similar. So 3 is where I tell people to start because it's the best aside from Elden Ring. Like the best playing by a long shot.
It might have been 3 because I think that's what I was asking. I was asking like people, should I start with 1? Should I skip to like one of the better ones? Like what's the best one to start with? And it was like a unanimous answer. So it had to have been 3 then, because what you're saying is I'm remembering what kind of everyone was leaning into saying. So I bet that's what it was.
Yeah. And FromSoft games also have especially more recent ones, have a tendency to like really throw a hard and fast curveball at you early on to be like, this is what you need to like mentally and emotionally prepare yourself for the next X amount of hours. But but yeah, I got into FromSoft games. I mean, technically, like in the PlayStation 1 games through the original Armored Core series, loved those. But
Yeah.
like the Souls games, I remember in college watching a friend of mine play Demon Souls when it was released on PS3 and thinking like, this is the most insane game I've ever seen. How are you supposed to fight like just towering, bosses? Like, how is this even possible? And fast forward like 5 years later, I had just lost my first job out of college. Like the startup company I was with had like gone under, and then my birthday came around, which was like fun. But I got Dark Souls 2 for my birthday that year, and in between, like working on my resume and applying for jobs and stuff like that, I would just grind at Dark Souls 2, and like my first real Souls experience. And I don't know what it was, if it was like the place that where I was like mentally, from like being unemployed to I don't know, just something about 2, like really just the Souls formula like hit me and really got its hooks in me in a big way. And just like, I mean, I was having like dreams about proper like build stats and what I needed to do.
Dude.
And from there I was just hooked, like Bloodborne, Dark Souls 3, Sekiro, Elden Ring, all that. I just absolutely love them.
I love
like,
it.
It's not everybody's cup of tea, but something about it, it clicks.
I can relate, not to the games, but like specifically, but like that moment where you're just dreaming about the next time you get to play that game and like the builds and stuff. That was me and Destiny.
Yes.
Like the original Destiny. I remember if I wasn't playing, I had the like Destiny companion app on my phone, and I was just like looking at the like terrible 3D rendering of my armor, and like, because like that's all you could really do.
Yeah.
Before you could actually swap things out and do different things from the app, it was just like, just look at your stats, and you could look at this poor 3D rendering of your armor. It's like, I'm like, it's so cool.
Yeah. Destiny was another one of those games during that time where like my wife, Star Freckles, if you ever see her on Twitch, she would literally have to like lay down the law about like, you've got to put these games down and like actually look for jobs and apply places and stuff. I had some contract work that I was doing that carried me through the season, which was really great. But yeah, they were very, very difficult distractions to overcome when you're without a job.
Yeah.
But yeah. So the current, like, more fast forward, more currently stuff, Shadow of the Erdtree is a big one. I just finished a Souls like, probably my favorite Souls like, Another Crab's Treasure. It's so good. It's an indie game made by a company called Aggro Crab, and they took the Souls formula and put it into a story about a hermit crab trying to get his like home shell back. And there's a lot of it goes into a lot about like pollution and how we take care of the planet, but also about like what it means to like truly feel satisfied. And what you as a person are looking for in life. And it gets pretty deep in that way. It gets deep in the ocean, gets deep in the feels. But it's also hilarious. There's trash everywhere, so you have like made up company names for Uncrustables. There's those boxes, but it's uncrustworthy. I can't believe it's not butter is like, I swear if this isn't actual butter, I'm gonna lose my mind. That's like the full name of the brand on the side of it. Like, it's full of stuff like that. You're picking up trash to use as like temporary shells, and every different kind of shell has different abilities and stats. It's hilarious. It's a ton of fun to play and really, really well done. the like one of their first like open areas where you can go explore has just like it's got a lot of really great music in it, but that specific part is great early on in the game. The song they play during the ending credits hits way harder than it has any right to. Like it's all around fantastic. It's on Xbox Game Pass. If you got Game Pass, check it out for free. I cannot recommend it enough.
I've seen you play it on stream. I watched a little bit of it. I missed the ending, so I guess that's good because it wasn't spoiled for me. But like,
and it's accessible for like non-Souls players.
Yeah. The puns are hilarious, and like the culture references. So like, I remember you were going through a city, and like the path was like a Walgreens receipt.
Yes.
Just like an ongoing, like just super long or like CVS receipt or something. And it was just like, that's so like looking at, I just see it. Like, that's hilarious.
Mm-hmm. There's a in the Undercity, like level below where the CVS receipt like bridges are, there's a fish that's driving around like a knockoff of the toy car from Toy Story. I mean, it's literally like absolutely packed. Everywhere you look, there is some sort of like fantastic reference to something, and it all fits like really naturally in this crazy, wacky world that they came up with. So big recommended on that.
Yeah. I like those kind of entry levels into this Souls-like, because like I don't mind big bosses and like learning the movement and the rhythms to it. Because was it you saying like, oh, this is just like rhythm games? Like,
I think I have said that before. Yeah, they're basically just rhythm games. You learn timings, and you know, the one thing that so many new Souls players get wrong, because it's like a natural reaction, and I had to like train myself out of it, is when you dodge, people always like dodge away. They want to like dodge away from whatever attack is happening. In Souls games, you're meant to dodge into attacks because you have invincibility frames. So, you know, points during your dodge rolls that are like basically let you go through attacks. That's the way they want you to do it. Go through the attack, like towards, kind of around, you know, whatever's going on. And that alone will take you from somebody who's potentially could be struggling a lot in a Souls game to like starting to really get the feel for like what a Souls game kind of looks like and feels like. That was a big change, a big shift.
Yeah. The closest I've gotten, and kind of what I was saying is I like just the fun skin on it. I think that's what keeps me away from some of the like Souls games is like I'm just constantly creeped out all the time.
Dark fantasy.
Yeah. But then you throw like a hermit crab looking for a shell. I'm like, haha, that's hilarious. I'll play that. And then I think the closest I've ever gotten to beat a Souls-like game is oh wow, I'm blanking on it now. It's the one with the little fox. Tunic.
Oh,
have you ever played Tunic?
I haven't, but it's on Game Pass, isn't it?
It is. It was. It should be.
Okay, I'll check it out. You should
definitely play it. It's like it just throws you in the world and you don't know what's going on, which I think is a lot like the Souls games where it's like there's no direct path. It's not like, oh, go do this next thing. It's just like, here's a world, figure it out
and survive. Good luck.
Yeah. So it doesn't have like the builds or anything to it. It's more of the Zelda stream as far as like weapons and stuff goes, where it's just like, oh, you found this new weapon, now you can use it.
Okay.
And stuff like that. So I would say it's a Souls Zelda collab, but that's as close as I get to Souls games.
Well, we gotta jump on another Crab's Treasure on some streams. See what you think of it.
I'll try. We'll see.
For sure. But that's it. That's me in the nerdy world right now. I fear we could go on for a very, very long time because you and I have talked about our current like fave show, The Bear.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what do you? I know for a fact you're watching some things. And I feel like we have some extra time here because our next question for a typical episode is doesn't have a whole lot of application right now. So spoiler alert, we'll get there. But yeah, like, what are you watching?
So The Bear is something I'm super excited about. Love seasons 1 and 2. There's nothing like it on TV or on streaming. The way that it's shot is very unique. It's like almost like it makes me feel like there's 70s like filmography to it, but in a very modern way. The storytelling is really good. It's a little scatterbrained at some parts, but I think it's intentionally done that way.
Yeah.
And man, it hooks you. If you can get over the fact that every episode is going to stress you out like crazy.
I was going to say, if you have high blood pressure or like you just have anxiety issues like me, maybe just give it a little taste. And if it doesn't fit, like, it's okay. It's not for everyone. But yeah, the first episode of this season was just like eyes glued to the TV. It was just like one thing after another. And like, it just told an amazing story. It was like kind of a recap almost, but like you just saw more into just the characters in the background. And you're just like, it's fantastic. It's a great story.
It was like not told chronologically. A lot of the main characters pass, but other people's like connections, and it's broken up. Like you have, and that kind of goes along with the main character's mental state. Like he struggles with trauma and anxiety, and you're getting like the way of view into how he processes what he's dealing with now based on things that have happened to him in his past, learning more about his past. And nobody else is doing anything like this. It is a very unique watching experience. Definitely PG-17 for swear words and that sort of thing. There's not a lot of otherwise adult content, but that's the big thing. If you're listening and you're thinking, oh, I'm sure I can watch with my kids, probably not. But
yeah, viewer discretion advised.
yes. But it is really good, really great storytelling. There are a couple of episodes from season 2 that are like, top tier all time TV show episodes for me. There's the Christmas episode, and there's one called Spoons.
Yeah.
The Spoons episode, which I think a lot of people talk about on the internet, it's a phenomenal, like it's one of the few almost like heartwarming episodes, which is kind of wild, but it's a breath of fresh air during that season that like just totally revitalizes you and fills you up to continue forward, which is what I loved about it.
I think I know. So just based off of the title, I don't remember the titles, but like Spoons, I guarantee I know what that one is. That's the one where
it's Richie focused.
Yeah, yes, dude. That is peak. That was one of the best episodes. I love that. Yep. And then
so good. There's life lessons in that one too.
Yeah.
About like really digging into taking whatever skill you have or pride in what you do to the next level to like be passionate about something, and what it means to be passionate about something isn't just like, oh, I spend a lot of time doing this, but no, like I'm really pouring myself into even the most minute details and character development. Love it. Love it.
Dude, the character development is like, seriously, watching this third season, like, and seeing little glimpses into like it just shows you like glimpses into people's past lives, and you're just like, wait, was that like, it was so fast, you're like, that wasn't now, like that was previously, like in their not necessarily past life, but like where they came from, where you were first introduced to them, and they were like nobodies. Like in the first season, you're like, oh, these guys aren't gonna cut it, like they're not gonna be like sticking around, and then like they're here and they're like their whole background is fleshed out, and they're completely different people because they've had like confidence put in them, and it's so cool to see.
Yeah. Yep. Gosh, what there's an episode, also season 2, where one of the people, like the chefs, the main characters, goes basically is sent like abroad to train in his craft, and it's the same place that Carmi, the main character, where he kind of started cutting his teeth and growing and seeing like the mentorship progress carry on is so cool. It is so cool. Dare I say, even a little like inspiring in some ways. So like, no, but what other show is like this right now? Nobody. None of them. Nothing. No show.
And this is actually something I just thought of recently, of like how TV shows will like forcefully be like, oh, look, here's them in the past, and it's like there was this like weird interaction before they even knew each other, like that's cool. And you're just like, it just, in some shows it just seems so forced and like unnatural. And like this one, you have like what you were just saying is Carmi's training, like with other people, and then his staff, like in the present, like he sends them overseas to like interact with these guys, and then you have those flashbacks. Everything just seems so natural, and like, no, that actually seems like it could have happened. And it's just really cool to see that come full circle, and just the storytelling, everything down to the, like, if you haven't picked up on it yet, it's like he's a chef. Like everything in that first episode of this season, this isn't a spoiler, but like just seeing his story laid out in the like meal he prepped, I'm just like, that's amazing. That is storytelling within storytelling, and I like it.
And it's shot beautifully. It's got this really cool vibe to it, like I don't know if it's like the color grading or what, but it feels like I don't know, it gives off like 70s film vibe, but also very modern and kind of gritty when it needs to be, and then super clean when it needs to be. They're very, very clever in how like different scenes are presented, and that's super cool. I've got a friend who's he's a videographer and very, very talented guy. He and I talk about The Bear, and it's like one of his, like, one of the things that he loves about it is there's the way that it looks is super cool and really unique.
Yeah, it's beautiful. It's a beautiful show. Great storytelling. So again, viewer discretion advised, but
yes,
if you can stomach it.
Yeah, the anxiety, the stress, and the unsavory language. Yeah, it's all there. It's all fantastic.
It's all fantastic.
Maybe not that part, but the rest of it is all fantastic. Yeah. That's what I mean.
Oh, I love it though. Yeah, it's a great show. Check it out. It's on Hulu if you have that.
/ Disney Plus, I guess, because that's all that's the umbrella now.
I don't understand Disney Plus anymore. Did you see the Saw movies? Like all of them are like on Disney Plus now. Yeah,
we don't have Disney Plus anymore, just because we weren't using it as often as we should to justify paying for it. But like, that
I don't understand it.
Ridiculous.
Okay, kids, do you want to watch Lilo and Stitch or Saw 7?
Mom, we've watched the first 6. We got to see how it ends.
Go home, Disney. You got to figure things out.
Like, I mean, I know, yeah.
But cool, man. Thank you for sharing what you are reading, watching, playing, experiencing in nerd culture. I'm happy for you. When it comes to Souls games, I'm happy for you. I'm glad you enjoy those.
It's the weird little like segment that I've found myself tucked into that I was like, you know what? I like this. And
it's good. I definitely can see the appeal, but I love it. And thank you, listeners, for joining us while we dive into what we as LTN are experiencing in nerd culture. Like we're here, we've got boots on the ground. in nerd culture, whether that's at conventions, whether it's on our website, which we talked about, and like the different content that we're creating in our communities. Like we're all experiencing nerd culture together, and we're all in our spaces. So hopefully you've enjoyed this episode and you want to listen to more. If you are listening to this, chances are you could find this in several locations, like the YouTubes. We are video recording it. We're on all the podcast places and that good stuff. We also have a Discord server. If you want to look us up, go to our website, lovethynerd.com/Discord. You can join in on the nerdy conversation. You can share there what you are experiencing in nerd culture, as well as our Facebook group. Just search Love Thy Nerd on Facebook. And
the Facebook
honestly,
community is pretty active. Like there's stuff going on there. It's not just in the Discord. It's on Facebook too.
People are sharing all sorts of stuff. The nerd stuff that they're reading, watching, playing, experiencing, the just memes. And if you like memes, just stop on by the Facebook page. It's great. It's a good time. And so, yeah, lots of good conversations to be had in our Discord. There's a lot of just games people are playing. We have a like Discord game in there now, like a RPG, like text-based RPG. If you haven't dove into that yet, I sunk like legit. I've sunk hours into it. It's kind of ridiculous.
It's I've like dipped my toes, and it's the most innovative Discord connection, like gameplay thing I have seen. As whoever came up with this in the Discord, you're a genius, and I love it.
Like, whoever made it, like our community manager, who you should have heard from by now, he added it, and so wherever he found that and dug that up, like he's the genius behind that. So super cool stuff going on in our community. So please don't hesitate to join us there. And last but not least, if you're interested in partnering with us at any level, whether that's just being plugged in or financially, just go on over to lovethynerd.com/partner. Tons of info there. We'd love to have you join our team, our fellowship, we call it. Join the fellowship of the nerd. We'd love to have you. So until next time,
Luke, until next time, if they want to hang out with you, where can they find you? Where are you at? If people want to hang out with you, where can we find you?
Oh man, this podcast for the most part, or conventions. I'm traveling a lot. But honestly, just like you'll find me in the LTN spaces on the Facebook, on the Discord. Like you could hop in and tag me. My gamer tag is Frostbite4. 4 is the Roman numeral. So if you just type in Frost, chances are you'll find me and can talk about nerdy stuff. I hide in the missions corner of the Discord. So if you join Discord, it'll say like, hey, choose the roles you want. If you are interested, hit that missionary, like missions, nerd culture missions tab, and it'll take you right to where I hang out in the shadows. What about you, Michael? Where can we find you?
I am terrible when it comes to doing stuff on Discord. So I've got a Discord that I share with my wife where we've got our own little kind of hangout space, and I'm not even there very often. But this isn't just a plug for me. But if you want to hang out, I do stream several nights a week at twitch.tv/tree-once-cut-down, playing Souls
You
like
should hang out
on Tuesdays and on Fridays at nighttime Eastern, and on Sundays do a little something different. Play guitar and sing along to pop punk tunes from the early 2000s, some 90s alternative stuff. It's all the teenage angst you could want in a live stream and more. And that's where I feel like I connect with people the most, is just hanging out there, especially the gaming streams. Lots of fun. I'm just sitting here chilling, playing Souls likes, and having a good time doing that. So if you want to hang out, that's where I am. I'd love to meet you and become buds.
If you hop in a stream Sunday, just hop in and request cop cuties. Thank me later.
That's a secret request. You can make requests and all that stuff. That's a secret one.
Yeah, and I'll just leave that to you to discover. If you know, you know. So again, thank you for joining us. This is the Love Thy Nerd Pulse, part of the Love Thy Nerd podcast network. Find us on all the other places that we mentioned before, and we will catch you next time. Bye-bye. Bye.